The reveal of Shibai Otsutsuki really shifted the very foundation of the universe itself. Not only does he have the most insanely overpowered ability in the entire franchise, there's also this mystery behind this character as well. As in, where is Shibai's body located? Did he ever set foot on this planet? What is his connection to Amado and Isshiki Otsustuki? Well, the answer to those questions was somewhat hinted at in the recent chapters. You see, I believe that Shibai's body lies within the realm of Ishiki's dimension, and Amado's true goal is to acquire it. This all goes back to the creation of the cyborgs Ada and Damon, who were stated to have surpassed Jigen himself in combat power. Now, the reason why this is important is because they only became this powerful due to them being modified using the cells of Shibai Otsutsuki. This was confirmed by Amado in chapter 75, where he explained that he created these cyborgs with the goal of taking down Jigen, but his plan later failed since Jigen found out and ordered him to scrap them. Now, this in and of itself is a big red flag in Amado's story, since if they had the power to take down Jigen and he created them to take down Jigen, why would he scrap them at Jigen's behest? Especially since they would have done better against Ishiki since their power greatly surpassed Jigen, as opposed to Naruto and Sasuke's. So there's obviously more to the story than Amado has revealed, and I believe that it has something to do with Amado's interest in Shibai's remains. Now, this goes back to the point of Shibai's body being stored in Ishiki's dimension, which means Ishiki is the one who put him there. That explains why Shibai's body remained intact all of this time, to the point where Amado could get his hands on active cells he could implant into his cyborgs. Now, I believe that Amado's issue is that he had a plan which required him to acquire more cells from Shibai, but Ishiki likely rejected his request due to the stunt he pulled with Ada and Damon, meaning he was creating henchmen that had the power to usurp Jigen's position as leader of Kara. So why would he give him more cells to do the same thing again? By the way, when I say Amado had a goal that required him to get more of Shibai's cells, I'm referring to the resurrection of his daughter Akabi. You see, Amado had a daughter who died 12 years ago, and while he was able to create a clone who embodies her physical essence through her memories in the form of Delta, he could never quite replicate her soul. In fact, this clone was only his daughter in physical appearances alone. Her personality was that of someone else. And after trying multiple times to resurrect his daughter's true spiritual essence, Amado finally gave in, and that's when Jigen appeared to him. Jigen promised to resurrect his daughter so long as he aided him in his goal to find a suitable vessel, one that would allow him to finally reach his true potential. He then later found out that Ishiki, who was inhabiting the body of Jigen, intended to cultivate the god tree, which would have resulted in the destruction of the planet itself, which is why he conspired against Ishiki by first creating cyborgs with the power to take him down. Or that's what he would like us to believe. Now, I do believe that Amado's goal is to resurrect his daughter, but just not in the way he explained, and mostly because his stated way doesn't make any sense. You see, Amado said that his plan is to use Kawaki's karma seal to resurrect Akabi by having him place a karma on a new body Amado will create for her. In his mind, this should work since the new karma he created for Kawaki actually possesses Akabi's data, not Ishiki's. Now, none of this makes any sense for multiple reasons. For one, the karma seal is stated to be an highly compressed Otsutsuki backup file. The compressed file slowly extracts over time, and once all of that data is fully extracted, the Otsutsuki who implanted the karma seal would fully resurrect within that body, and the person would cease to exist. So that simply means that if the new karma implanted on Kawaki was Akabi's, it should extract her data into his body and make him turn into Akabi. Yet that didn't happen. And even if I play devil's advocate and just make stuff up and say that Kawaki can't be overwritten because he's Otsutsuki, there's also the problem of Kawaki not being 100% Otsutsuki. Only 80% of Ishiki's data was extracted into Kawaki's body. And by the way, this was stated by Momoshiki after Kawaki's karma seal got removed. So Kawaki didn't gain any more of Ishiki's data after this. Well, at least that's what we thought, but we're gonna get to that. The point is that based on the mechanic established in universe, his data would have been overwritten. Now, the second point is that Amado later said that his failed efforts at reproducing personality which crossed into the domain of the gods was only possible with the Shinjutsu known as karma. Now, the reason why this doesn't make any sense is the fact that we've already established that a karma seal is what links a soul to the land of the living, which is why it has to be performed before the death of the person implanting the karma seal. This explains why Shiki wasn't able to implant his karma seal on Kawaki post turning to dust, and also why he can't resurrect in Kawaki even though his karma seal has been reconstructed. The same logic should apply to Akabi as well. Her soul has long passed from the land of the living, so Kawaki implanting her data into another body shouldn't restore her soul. If that was the case, the same would have likely happened to Kawaki, who has Ishiki's data and reconstructed karma. Now Amado did hypothesize, I'm going to try to say this correctly, that all other karma implanted on other vessels get erased upon resurrection, and that this was some sort of safety feature that prevents the risk of creating duplicate copies of the same personality. So you could say that this is what he's trying to achieve for Akebi. Now the issue is that it seems like he's doing the same thing he did before. He isn't bringing back his daughter Akebi who died, he's just creating a clone who now has her personality. He himself even stated that the human consciousness is more than just an aggregation of memories or the data he used to clone her body, which clearly implies that the personality is tied to the soul of the individual. That's why Boruto can be 100% Otsutsuki and still be the same Boruto. That's why Kawaki can be 80% Isshiki and still remain Kawaki. The same can be said for Jigen, who had 100% of Ishiki's data extracted within him, but would have still remained Jigen absent of Isshiki mind controlling his body. The only time the vessel's personality changes is when the Otsutsuki's soul possesses their body, as seen with Boruto, and also when the Otsutsuki fully resurrects, as seen with Isshiki. And as I said before, this can only happen if they implant the karma before they fade away, since the karma seal is what anchors their soul to the realm of the living, as stated by Momoshiki. So there's clearly a difference between the actual soul of the Otsutsuki that is anchored to the realm of the living by the karma seal, as opposed to whatever duplicate that could possibly be created by the karma seal. If there wasn't a difference, there wouldn't be a need for the karma to anchor the soul of the living. So if Amado can't bring his daughter back using the karma, how is he planning on doing it? Well, I believe that Amado is trying to acquire the power of omnipotence. You see, as stated by Momoshiki in chapter 79, omnipotence is an ultimate power only an all-knowing almighty God can wield. It's a programming language that the gods were said to have used to create worlds, the will to make anything real. That's what omnipotence is. So in essence, omnipotence is a reality warping technique that allows the user to bend reality to his will. Again, the will to make anything real. We even learned that Ada's charm ability is simply a result of Ada's subconscious desire made material by omnipotence, and that's because Ada's will or desire was to be loved. So in using omnipotence or omnipotence, she was able to manifest that desire into reality, thus making everyone infatuated with her. So in essence, the charm ability isn't an ability by itself, it's just a manifestation of Ada's deepest desire. We also saw the ability again in chapter 79, with Ada accidentally manifesting Kawaki's desire to make Boruto an outsider. And as stated by Momoshiki, this current phenomenon is Kawaki's desire becoming reality. He went through Ada and invoked omnipotence to cause you and him to switch positions. So it isn't far-fetched to say that Amado could bring his daughter back by wielding the power of omnipotence. Now Momoshiki also stated that Ada can't control the ability since she isn't Otsutsuki, which is why this was all done subconsciously. This then leads back into why Amado would need Shibai cells, since he wasn't able to fulfill his wishes through Ada because she wasn't an Otsutsuki, thus being unable to control omnipotence. That's when he decided to hijack Ishiki's vessel in Kawaki and set his plan in motion. First, he needed Kawaki to be Otsutsukified to a certain point, so he allowed some time to pass while he worked on his other cyborgs. When the time then arrived, he had Kashinkochi cause the accident near the Leaf Village, which would obviously get Naruto and Sasuke involved. This of course led to the events of the manga where Jigen was weakened by Naruto and Sasuke, which allowed Koji to take him down, thus forcing Ishiki to resurrect and freeing Kawaki from his karma seal. Ishiki then promptly got discarded, leaving an Otsutsuki-fied vessel with the latent power to access Ishiki's time-space, and also use the power of omnipotence. So at that point, all Amado needed to accomplish is reconstructing Kawaki's karma seal, so that way he could tap into Ishiki's power and retrieve Shibai's body from Daikokuten. That is why I also believe that the data Amado used to reconstruct Kawaki's karma seal is actually a digitized form of Ishiki in full, who was actually fully extracted within the body of Jigen. The same Jigen Amado had full access to and could have easily cloned his genetics without him knowing. That then explains why this new karma seal that was reconstructed looks the same as Ishiki's, and allows Kawaki to tap into more power that he couldn't access even prior to having the original removed. It also supports the idea of Kawaki now being full Otsutsuki, which Code said after they fought in chapter 66. Now this part is very important because we know that Kawaki was just 80% Otsutsuki, which was stated by Momoshiki himself after the karma seal was already removed from Kawaki's body. So why would Code then say that Kawaki is now full Otsutsuki, the keyword there being now? when Code himself knew that he wasn't, as he himself explained to Ada just a few chapters prior. Like, we know that Code isn't the brightest, but he isn't brain dead. So there's obviously something Code sensed in that battle that brought him to that conclusion, which might be similar to how Isshiki and Momoshiki could simply sense what percentage Otsutsuki data had been extracted in them. That simply means that Kawaki became 100% Otsutsuki off screen, which then brings us back to the karma seal Amado reconstructed. This simply means that the data within the karma was Ishiki's, and he was able to extract the remaining 20%, thus making Kawaki a full Otsutsuki. That's why Kawaki is now able to access Ishiki's dojutsu and all of his abilities, something he couldn't do prior to the reconstruction of his karma. It also explains why Kawaki is now able to access all 8 triangles of Ishiki's dojutsu, which wouldn't have been possible if he didn't have 100% of Ishiki's data. So it all does make perfect sense. Now this could go one of two ways from here. We know that Amado built a shutdown code into Kawaki's body and gloated about the fact that he's the only one that could control him, which could also mean that he can actually control Kawaki's actions. Now this is a stretch, but it's just a possibility. This then of course leads to having Kawaki enter Daikokuten and retrieving Shibai's body, thus leading to him implanting Shibai's cells into Kawaki's body, which again is a body that could properly wield Omnipotence. And then you can just fill in the blanks from there. He pretty much has him revive his daughter using Omnipotence and also complete any other goal he hopes to achieve. Now the second way this could play out is that Amado doesn't have a way of controlling Kawaki's actions, so he would need to find another way to retrieve Shibai. This of course leads back to the cloned body he said he would create for Kawaki to implant karma, and what would then happen is that Ishiki's complete data would extract into that cloned body, thus making it 100% Ishiki, along with having the ability to wield karma. This body, unlike Kawaki, would be under the full control of Amado, which means he could command it to do anything, such as retrieving Shibai, allowing him to implant Shibai's cells into its body, and reviving Akebi using Omnipotence. The funny thing is that this was actually foreshadowed in chapter 75, with Kawaki asking Amado if he's sure that his daughter won't turn into some new Otsutsuki, and Amado replying saying that he doesn't know. So I'm more so leaning towards this outcome rather than him being able to control Kawaki's body. Now just to be clear, I did flirt with the idea that Amado didn't know that Ada had Omnipotence, since her ability manifested as the charm ability. This was even implied by Momoshiki when he said that it would make sense that Amado doesn't fully understand Shinjutsu. So it could be that he was trying to give her that power but thought she somehow got something else. Though I think it's more plausible that he did know that she had Omnipotence but just couldn't control it due to her not being Otsutsuki, thus moving on to the plan with Kawaki. By the way, I believe that Amado learned all about Shibai's past abilities through Ishiki himself, who provided him with Shibai's cells. It makes perfect sense since he also knows details about the past that only someone like Ishiki would know, since he was there for some of it. Similar to how Momoshiki knows about Shibai and the fact that he's no longer in this dimension. Now there's also the possibility that Shibai is able to come back by Amado like implanting his cells into a full Otsutsuki body. Like maybe Amado isn't planning to bring Shibai back, but it just happens accidentally based on what he's doing. So that's also a possibility. Now that being said, I know this theory was kinda like, wonky, you guys are gonna say it in the comment section, but I like to just like look at Boruto in a more like intricate way. I think that's the right word, right? But I think it's way more interesting than what's shown at face value, and that also makes the series way more enjoyable for me personally. So when you guys look at my theories, you guys might see, oh, I'm saying Boruto has the power of the dead, or maybe this thing is going to happen and the Jogan has this ability. That's because I like to make things way more interesting, whilst also making it very clear that this is indeed a theory video, because like some people have a problem with theories these days, Let me know your thoughts on this one in the comment section. Do you think it's plausible? If not, let me know why in the comment section. If you like the video, drop a like, and if you're new, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out.